speaking of Jake the Snake Roberts, he's with our man, Michael St. John.
Thank you, gentlemen. Back here I have a man of legendary proportion, the man, Jake the Snake Roberts. He is a man that you all recognize. He's a legend. Come on, Jake, get on in here. The folks want to hear from you.
What I'm saying right now is this. You know, you go to a casino, and everybody says, well, gosh, the casino, you should gamble. Let me tell you something, Anvil. You don't want to play cards with me because I'll cheat, okay? I cheat. You want to play 21? I got 22. You want to play blackjack? I got 2 of those too. You want to play ace and an ace? Maybe I got too many of those too. Bottom line is this. You do not gamble with me. The only time you should gamble is this. Listen to me. When you walk in a casino and you want to gamble, the main thing is you should realize this. To gamble, you must accept losing. I don't accept losing. And neither does Damien. Damien, my friend. My friend Damien is right here. You see Damien?
Yeah, he just stuck his head out at him.
Nice pile of snake, huh?
Oh.
You don't want to see us, do you?
Well, I
Let me
know.
show you something.
Yeah, that's
Let me
okay,
show you
Jake.
No, I tell you what, Anvil. Go ahead, Anvil. Roll the dice. Mr. Cameraman, get your ass back up here. Hello? I'm talking to you. Get the camera back up here. That is not what you need to worry about, Anvil. The bottom line is this. When the DDT comes, then the snake comes out. Worry about the DDT. 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 Think about it.
A man of his word, Jake the Snake Roberts. Back to ringside.
Back at you again in 30 days or less. Welcome to the latest episode of Spot Callers. I am Justin. I'm joined by Cyrus, Mr. H Visibility himself. What's up, Cyrus? It's been 30 days.
Hey, this is not like the end of the month. There's no crunch time. We're here early.
It's the mid-month, Spot Callers is coming. But that's because we had such a spectacular show. We have a spectacular guest. We were supposed to have him on the show last month, and we had to call an audible really, really quick. But this month we have Meelz, my A-show brethren, Meelz on the show. What's up, Meelz?
What's poppin'? I'm here. I don't know why you guys got me to watch the show, but
you could have had a way better. Well, you know what? You could have had a technically kind of way better show than this.
I don't know if that was way better than this show. I don't think I'd call it way better. I think I would call it there's nothing going lower than this show. This show sets the bar very, very low.
All right. So you watched the Joey Janela show, but can you give a couple quick thoughts about it?
Okay. I have to remember because here's the thing about the Joey Janela show. I watched it like a week after you gave it to me. And then in terms of scheduling this entire show and thing, I may have forgotten it. It's kind of like that one afternoon where I learned how to play chess and then never played chess and forgot how to play chess entirely. So now I have to kind of remember the card. But I do remember. What do I remember? I remember the Clusterfuck Battle Royal. That was interesting.
I'm so sorry to hear.
Oh, boy.
Just because it was named that. I remember that, for a show that's like a one-off show, I did like the kind of like old guy. I like the intro thing where it's like he's that old guy and doing like in the future and et cetera, et cetera. I did like that. What else did I like? I'm trying to figure out what I like.
The opening vignette.
Yes, the opening vignette. Matt Riddle versus James Ellsworth. That was 2 names that I know. PCO versus Walter. Okay. Yes, I did watch that. I forgot how it ended, but I remember watching it.
It ended.
One of them dying terribly.
Let's see, what else do I remember? And the main event. Yeah. I mean, overall, I would say, what did I think of this? Gosh, it's been so long. It's legitimately like I forgot how to play chess. An interesting show.
I gave it a thumbs in the middle.
Yeah, it's an interesting show. It's an interesting show. It holds up at some points, but not really at other points. Like,
The only thing I remember about the main event is that Sasuke puts a trash can over his head, and it just goes way too long.
It was a fitting ending to that show, pretty much. But there will be more memorable things happening on this show this month. It is the 20th anniversary. Well, it's not exactly this month. This year is the 20th anniversary of Heroes of Wrestling, the show that took place on October 10th, 1999, from Casino Magic in Mississippi. This was meant to be the first in a series of pay-per-view events. It was a disaster from the jump. Now, Cyrus, you had never seen the show before.
I've never seen the show. I've never heard about this promotion, like, ever.
Same. Actually, same. Like, I'd never heard about.
You had to have heard about the Jake. You had to have heard about the Jake the Snake stuff, though, right?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I got a general gist of like, yeah, he was like really drunk at some various points, but I've honestly never heard of the show. And the fact that this happened in 1999 is like, to me, there was like WWF, there was WCW.
At the peak of wrestling.
Yeah. There was WWF, there was WCW, there's ECW, and then there were these guys. That's how I kind of feel about these shit. Like, because I was just like, there's various times, and like, I don't know if I go back to 1999 but as an adult, I'm like, yo, where did all the old wrestlers go during the Attitude Era? Like, really? And this show kind of explained everything to me, and also answered some questions that I didn't need answered. But yes,
yeah, they were on the show. They were on the show. The show was a disaster, as I said from the jump. Gordon Soley was supposed to be one of the commentators on the show, but he fell deathly ill. He had throat cancer right before, or he was diagnosed with it right before the show aired, and he passed away from it shortly after. He was replaced by Randy Rosenthal, who I'm guessing you guys heard all throughout the show, calling suplexes super kicks and shit like that.
Yeah.
He knew nothing about wrestling. But yeah, how'd you guys feel about like this kind of like the look of the show? This is a pay-per-view, by the way.
It hurts my eyes, man. Like, it's super old, so like I'm not gonna like shit on it too much, but it's just like the quality that it's in is just like, oh my God. And it's like it's done in a casino, and another show is gonna be done in the casino later this month, which is my God. It really sets the tone.
Right. I mean, so the look of the show, it kind of reminded me of like very old, WCW type of world class, like very, very vintage in terms of just like not a lot of great lighting, but still. And then I guess like part of it was like ECW as well, considering like, once again, not a lot of great lighting, but the entire, look of it, it looked like, okay, we're setting some stuff up. This could become a thing. Here's what we got with the resources that we have thus far, and here's who we could call for the show. Because this is pretty much insane.
Yeah. So let's get right into it. If you guys want to watch Heroes of Wrestling, you can type in the name in YouTube, and I'll give you a clue where to find that. But it begins with
it's on YouTube. Come on, it's on YouTube.
Actually, you know what? I don't even know why I'm trying to like protect this shit.
Yeah, WWE ain't picking this up. Like, come on, WWE's not grabbing this for the network. Come on, it's Heroes of Wrestling. This is a terrible show. Like. It's obviously it's on YouTube. It's a VHS recording. It is not DVD. It is not great quality. It is everything. It's Be Kind and Rewind quality. It's a show you can find on YouTube.
You'll know what show it is by the thumbnail.
Yeah, absolutely. It opens with the first of like 4 King Kong Bundy promos of varying quality. There are a lot of backstage pre-tape stuff. Yeah. On this show, the production quality also negligible as well. But the actual show opens up with the Samoan SWAT team versus Marty Jannetty and Tommy Rogers.
Marty Jannetty, forever a tag team guy.
The only worker in this match who is actually working hard.
Oh yes, Marty Jannetty is a consummate professional when it comes in the ring. I mean, he's the guy who's just like. He's still, I don't know if he still has a love for it at this point, but he's definitely continuing to work hard. Obviously, yes.
Needs money. I also want to do something here where we kind of, I want to mention a lot of the wrestlers on the show are deceased. Yes. And I think we average at least one in every match. In this match in particular, Tommy Rogers has passed away as well. He doesn't do much in this match.
No, I honestly didn't even know who Tommy Rogers was, to be honest with you.
I don't know either.
He was, a part of kind of like the golden era of wrestling. Big muscly guy that obviously they love back then. This production value is public access level. I caught during the Samoan SWAT team's entrance that they had Marty Jannetty's name up, which was like, okay, this is where we're going to start tonight on the show.
And I mean, it still has even the Casino Magic 1-800 number in front of the ring.
Doesn't it knock it over it?
Yeah, and it's not a ring skirt. It's like a foam kind of like prism that's on the mat, and it gets knocked over all the time. And they have a crew to put it back up. And I'm just like, well, just get a ring skirt.
No, we're gonna like speed through these matches because like a lot of them are really just the wrestlers walking around and punching each other.
Isn't that like late 80s, early 90s wrestling anyway?
Everybody moves like they're bloated. Oh my God. Like they ate too much and came out here and they move so slow.
This is 1999, by the way. Like a couple of these people will actually do runs with the WWE maybe 10 years after this. And I think they look a lot better. Like Snuka looks a lot better during his like third or fourth run of the WWE than he does here.
I mean, Snuka on this card was, here's the thing. It's 1999. This show was 20 years ago. Everyone on this card is incredibly old for 1999. They're all so old, and I'm just like, how could they get any? Like they were old. For me, growing up, I started in the Attitude Era, and I didn't really watch much before it. These guys have been old all my life, so that's kind of all I know. How I know them and how I kind of give them their respect of these guys just being relatively old dudes all my life.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't notice about this match is that the faces keep doing illegal moves. They keep doing more illegal moves than the actual heels do in this match.
The referee work is awful because a lot of stuff is going on. The ref just lets it slide, like the one man gang match. Like shit just flies in that one.
Yeah.
No one is getting paid enough for this.
No ref is doing their job.
There's a point where Fatu hit Jannetty with a chair, and I was just like, okay. I mean, they've been taking nut shots all match. I'm completely fine with that. The Samoan SWAT team wins after they do a TKO on Rogers. I gave this match a 1 star. I don't know why they put the heels over in the opening match, but it was a pretty bad match.
I gave it a 1 star too.
I mean, yeah. It's my first time doing star ratings, but I guess I would give it a 1 star. I mean, yeah. All this, a bunch of matches on this card is going to average close to the same.
Next up, go ahead.
Like it being old school wrestling, like I started watching wrestling at WrestleMania like 31. So like seeing this like kind of wrestling is really hard to stay engaged with. So it's just like, oh man, like I need to just like set my expectations lower. It's just like, no, I'm gonna keep it honest. This shit like doesn't really hold up too well.
No, I think it's because a lot of them are past their prime. And then also it's like the style of professional wrestling has evolved so much. And it's more like, a lot of these wrestlers used to be like, we make fun of it all the time, like Milkman and like, people who would just show up. Yeah, Clubber or something along like Kevin Nash's business. He was a bouncer, and then they are like, let's become a wrestler, like, or that's a similar how like China's story was. Whereas like now these guys are like genuinely athletic people. Yeah, and it's just you can see it's night and day between now and then. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's a good and a bad with a lot. I think that even you'll there's a gem even in old school stuff. Like I even think like there's certain things like we'll get to it. Coming up with like Too Cold Scorpio, where it's like, okay, they are older, but they are trying to do stuff that you would probably see done a little bit better today. Next segment, Sherry Martel and Georgia Animal Steel. Very strange pre-tape. The commentators like imply that. Go ahead.
Very weird like vibes going on, and yeah, the commentators are just like, "Hey, are they having sex or are they?
Yes.
Who knows?
I was like,
Maybe."
no, there's no fucking way that like that was okay. Like this would not go over well in 2019, obviously. But the next match is oof. What a second match on this show. George the Animal Steele versus Greg Valentine. Steele was 61 when this show aired.
Dog, Greg Valentine has been that old guy who's like, get off my porch all my life. Like the man he's just been so old all my life. And no offense to, I'm sure Greg Valentine is a legend. George Animal Steele, a legend. But man, all my life.
I think I wrote out in the beginning, like from jump, I wrote out, oh boy, this one stinks from the beginning.
Oh yeah, easily. I don't know.
I wrote Grandpa Battle.
Someone's gonna have to recommend me Greg Valentine matches because he's a legend.
Yeah, he tried to make chicken salad chicken shit here. He really was trying. Like we had a segment or a section in this match where they were literally just taking turns hitting each other with a foreign object. It looked like a spoon. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was a spoon wrapped up. I'm sure it was a spoon.
A thick ass soup spoon.
And they kept hitting each other in plain sight of the ref.
And he hit it in his trunks, and he's just like, now it's just sticking out of his ass, and it's just this match.
Sherry is like turning heel on both of them, or just like just fucking around with both of them, and then does Greg Valentine put like the shirt over George Steele's head?
Oh yeah, what was that about?
His shirt goes over his head, and then he doesn't take it off for like a solid like 3 minutes.
The referee doesn't take it off. Nothing takes it off.
That's how you know he's old.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of spots here. One really good spot was Sherry going over the top rope. She was working.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, Sherry's a pro, man. If anyone goes over the top rope, it's definitely Sensational Sherry in this business. Sensational Sherry is probably my favorite part of this match. Even though like the heel turn is like
super weird.
Yeah, it's very weird, but she's still always my favorite part of every match that she's a part of. So yes.
Greg says,
Greg Valentine.
Go ahead.
He's. I think we're about to say the same thing. The same exact thing.
Okay, because I was gonna say that Greg Valentine, he like, he does this thing where I'm gonna kick your ass, and then I'm gonna go for the figure four. My figure four is better than Ric Flair's, and I don't think a figure four was even done in this match, or I blinked and missed it.
Did not happen. Didn't happen at all. He wins this match. I mean, you talk about figure four. He wins the match with a chair shot, and I give this a dud. I think it's one of the worst matches of all time. I mean, respect to Sherry, R.I.P. to Sherry and George Steele, but Jesus Christ, it was terrible.
Yeah, 1/2.
You going a half star on that?
I'm going to half star. I did like some of the shit that Sherry did in this match. That's like the saving grace.
Yeah, I'm going to star on it. I'll just give it a star. I have nothing to say.
Lou Albano joins commentary, but not before he announces not before they announce him as he has like a really weird relationship on this show. He's the commissioner later on, but here he already knows that he is, but he acts like he doesn't know that he is later on in the show. After that, we get a terrible Julio Fantastico promo, which I can see why he never made it big.
Easily. Never heard of him. Never heard of him. Right?
I can see how.
You think he would like show up at ROH at some point during this like, its peak years, but whew. Yeah. Hey man, this man goes nowhere.
I mean,
next match is Too Cold Scorpio versus Julio Fantastico. Scorpio was fired from the WWF shortly before the show, but he walks out dressed like Captain Crunch and holding a replica WCW belt. What do you guys think about how Too Cold Scorpio was dressed here?
First of all, the belt. So here's the thing. I saw the belt, and then I immediately went to his Wikipedia profile and was like, was he ever world champ?
No.
I was like, yo, was he ever world champ? Like, I get it. Like, you want to, but like, you're a professional wrestler. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you can hold replica belts. and just
like, who are you lying to?
Yeah, my man came out full. I think it was just drip. This had to be 1999.
He wasn't even the champion on the show.
No, there's no.
Oh, his dreads. His dreads
look dreads. Oh my god. Okay.
I was like,
yeah, they looked terrible.
The two cool Scorpio that I know today, like bald. So when I saw these dreads, I was just like, yeah, he should have went bald earlier. These dreads look awful.
Yeah, he was flat. He was still Flash Funk when he was Flash Funk. He had those, so it was literally like months after. I think it was after Mania. I think it was like right before this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wasn't doing much before that, but yeah, they blow more spots in this match than Tiana Trump.
Oh my god! Wow, wow, good for you.
You happy?
Too Cool Scorpio. I mean, he's someone that I kind of, lightly remember. I really have more memories of him via, rewatching stuff on the network than anything, probably in person. Going through his Wikipedia profile, I feel like there should definitely be a Wikipedia portion of it because I'm mostly learning about these guys through Wikipedia. Did not know that he was signed to the WWE in the mid 2000s, and they had planned to use him at some point, and then they fired him. So, did not know that. But you know what?
He's one of the like the best high flyers of his time. I think,
and he doesn't get enough credit. I don't think he gets enough credit. I don't even think he gets even close to the amount of credit for just being that guy who's either it's in ECW or WWF or anything rather, who just showed things who's pretty much doing stuff on the card that at that point no one had ever seen in America. And I don't think he gets enough credit at all. I think there should be a Hall of Fame spot waiting for him at some point, just for the tons of things he's done in professional wrestling and the moves that he's pulled out. And he's managed to stay, popular through a large part of his career. While not completely relevant at some times, he was still popular, at least amongst this crowd too.
Yeah, they loved him here. But if this is your first time seeing him, this is probably not the best match to watch for your first time.
Yeah, definitely watch.
He had
ECW stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Just from the beginning, these guys have no chemistry whatsoever. Like, it's a bunch of hip tosses, and when they try and do anything beyond that, there's one point, I don't know if you guys caught it, where he thought that he was supposed to duck low, and Fantastical just runs right into Scorpio.
Mm-hmm.
And then he lifts himself up, and they try it again, and it still flopped. And I'm just like, what is going on here, guys?
This is the youngest match on the card.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is like in 2013. I mean, in 2019, these guys probably be one of the oldest on the card, but this is definitely the youngest on the card, and this is the most smoothly anyone's going to move all night. So you know what? It is what it is. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it 1.5, 2 stars, maybe 2 stars. I like the finish, kind of, even though he kind of moves out the way.
I want to talk about this finish because he tries to do the tumbleweed twice.
Kills him.
This is it.
Both times.
But no, he missed the second one, and he pins him after the second one.
He completely whiffs the second one.
Julio's like grabbing his face because like his fucking ass just like grazes his like cheekbone as he misses.
No, I think that was on the first one. So he hits that tumbling like leg drop type of deal.
No, man, I was just like,
what's going to miss? So, but of course they replay the blown one, like the second blown one.
Oh
Didn't hit him at all. I gave this one 1 star. It was an uncoordinated mess. It was just a mess.
I gave it a 2.
Oh yeah, 2 stars. Okay, cool. Next up, Albano announced himself as the commissioner, as if this company is going to last past this pay-per-view. And then we have Iron Sheik. Actually, no, this is actually the Too Cold Scorpio and Fantastical match is the one match on the show that doesn't have 2 wrestlers or any wrestlers that have deceased.
All right.
So there you go.
You realize the acronym for this league is HOW. I think that's very telling of this entire card.
Next up is Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov versus the Bushwhackers. When I was watching this, I was concerned. I was very concerned about you two on this. I thought you were going to tap out on me here.
I almost did.
I'm familiar. I'm familiar with the Iron Sheik, Nikolai Volkov type of deal. Bushwhackers. I haven't seen many Bushwhacker matches, to be honest with you, and I don't know if that makes me a bad wrestling fan or not. I hope not.
I think it doesn't.
It doesn't.
But this to me seemed like something that could have main evented, or not main evented, but been on the card for WrestleMania 1. And mind you, WrestleMania 1 was probably like 15 years before this. So, yeah, that's kind of how this match goes. It doesn't hold up well in 1999 or 2019. I'll say that.
Super slow match. Not
Very
much
awful.
really happens. These guys are all past their primes, even when this show was on. Bushwhackers win after Volkov hits Sheik accidentally with an object. They fight afterwards. I was just ready for this to be over.
It's the like the 80s wrestling like stereotype thing where it's just like, the super patriotic match. So it was just like, I guess.
But here's the thing. The Bushwhackers are not from America. So
I didn't know that.
the Bushwhackers are completely from another continent. They are from let me pull this up right here to make it New Zealand.
Oh wow.
So everyone chanting USA, I'm like, I mean, maybe you're chanting USA against them, but these guys are not American. Not even close.
Hey man, they had to chant. They had to chant something. They got to chant something, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at this point.
Boy.
They're in
They
Mississippi.
chant something. They chant something during the Bob Orton match.
Oh yeah. So next up is actually my favorite segment, or a couple segments of the show. Tully Blanchard gets his ass beat in a car trunk. He gets stuffed in a trunk of a car
Like a nerd.
Why did you say it like a nerd? No, that was some rough.
If he would have closed it while he was in there, I would have cried.
No, just, the funniest part is that he never closes. So you see him struggle inside the trunk, like trying to fight back. And I mean, once again, continue. But this is once also my favorite match on the card, or favorite group of segments, or something along those lines.
And then after that, Tully Blanchard cuts a really good promo, dude. Like, it's probably one of them. Like, it was the best promo in the show, clearly, but also just a really solid promo on Stan Lane, and just talks about, how, he helped create what we're watching right now. And I thought it was really strong going into this match. One thing that was jarring about me from a Tully Blanchard versus Stan Lane is that how sometimes people have entrance music and then sometimes they don't on the show.
What?
You didn't notice that, like, sometimes they don't have entrance music on the show?
No, I thought none of them had entrance music.
Tully did.
Sometimes.
Oh shit!
Sometimes.
I really didn't fucking notice.
But I didn't notice at all. I didn't notice. The entrance music was the least of my worries.
Commentary talks so fucking much, and it's kind of funny sometimes.
Yeah. Also, the audio quality and things like that. First of all, I want to say how during this promo, Tully Blanchard looks like the most, COO, corporate vice president of whatever Cracker Barrel company that that ever exists. The man looks like completely just not of a professional world. But when he drops that promo, he's like, listen, I don't wrestle anymore, but I'm gonna come out, and here's why, and et cetera, et cetera. He drops pretty much the best thing on the show by far. So yeah, shout out to Tully. I mean, damn.
Then he drops the best match of the show. I think also the longest match. I think it goes about 11 minutes here. Lots of shots of the crowd being bored, interspersed with them saying horsemen suck. This is just really like a good technical match. Like, there's not much bad I can say about it. If you were to watch something, like if you want to be like, okay, how do people do pro wrestling? This would be, I'd show them this on this show. Not first, but if they were watching this show, I wouldn't show them this show at all.
I wouldn't show them this first. No,
it's a long list, and this is like number 50.
No, if you're asking me, this is like 579 of things that I would show people to get them into professional wrestling. Like, this show ain't it. Like, not even close.
The finish came out of nowhere and the crowd hated it because they didn't understand it. But
the finish was so dumb because neither of them had their shoulders down, and they do a replay, and none of them have their shoulders down, and then oh my god! And
the commentary didn't understand.
And I thought it was one of those finishes where, the dumb heel like actually did have like his shoulders down and the face just like rolled over him and then, did the mistake. No, both of them shoulders are clearly up, like far as fuck from the mat. And then, 1, 2, 3, and the ref is just like, whatever. Plus the ref doesn't even get a good vantage point.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very, very confusing for the commentary. Actually talks about it for 2 minutes. Like they don't know really what's going on. And go ahead.
In my notes, I put like this is probably like the best singles match in terms of like in ring and story. And then after I saw the finish, I was just like, I just wrote never mind.
Wow. This is this is another like shout out to Stan Lane for doing that Rush Hour move that Chris Tucker does.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? God bless him. This is 1999. But I had to once again. I don't know if this makes me a bad wrestling fan. I had to Wikipedia Stan Lane, and I was like, oh, okay, that's where he's from. Never have noticed him outside of the Midnight Express, or the Fabulous Ones, or the Heavenly Bodies, which all three I'm familiar with, but for some reason just looked very
not him.
Yeah, in this entire thing, and he looked like. Go ahead.
If you're a bad pro wrestling fan, I'm just outright awful because I didn't even bother to wiki him.
I mean, yes, I feel like I don't know. I mean, it was a good match.
I gave it 2 stars. I gave it 2 stars.
Yeah, would have been 3.5 in the 80s. 1987, this would have been a good solid 3.5.
I would have gave it 3.5 if the finish wasn't so weird.
No, but I'm giving this a 2 star. I mean, this is no 2.5. 2.5. I'll give it 2.5.
Oh wow! Okay, wow. We're breaking the scales here. Next up, we have holy shit. One Man Gang versus Abdullah the Butcher.
Didn't watch it. I know who Abdullah the Butcher is. I knew I wouldn't be able to watch it. I'm not going to say I'm squeamish, but I knew what it was when I signed up. And
you would be squeamish because this match is terrible, not because he was bleeding, but he does bleed in this match.
As a fan of deathmatch wrestling, I thought this match sucks. This match sucks. Like I just like I saw the chain and like the referee's not doing a damn thing. It's not dubbed as a no DQ match
at all. No, but that even factors into the finish where they're both counted out.
my favorite part about this match is that one man gang is beating the fuck out of Abdullah with the chain, and then Abdullah brings it back with a fork.
And then there's like obviously One Man Gang is like blading himself like right in front of the camera.
Good Lord. I mean, the Las Vegas crowd seemed like they were still having a good time, so I don't know.
Meelz, this is Mississippi.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is definitely Bay St. Louis.
And then this next match, you're really gonna realize how this is Mississippi.
This is definitely Mississippi.
Oh my god.
Oh, but I gave this one a dud. I think
dud.
I didn't watch. I would never watch an Abdullah the Butcher match after the first time I watched an Abdullah the Butcher match. I'll be honest with you. This is the second Abdullah the Butcher match I've seen in my life. Never again.
Not a single wrestling move is done in this match. There's no way I could give this shit a single star.
Next segment, another pre-tape with Lou Albano, who is like all over this fucking show, where they're fighting over playing cards in an angle that it's like a pre-tape, and then there's like 2 promos right after that. So it takes up 5 minutes of the show of just talking. And I was like, who is timing this fucking pay-per-view out? It's fucking terrible. So the next match we have is Jimmy Snuka with the commissioner, which is like he's supposed to be impartial, versus Bob Orton. Jimmy Snuka looks good here. You gotta say, he looks okay.
I mean,
physically, not when he starts moving.
I mean, yeah,
Really?
I guess. Yeah, I mean, I guess he looks better than when we've seen him since like the year 2000 and on is probably what I'll say. He's certainly moving, which is something that we didn't say. I mean, he had a whole match at WrestleMania 25, and good God, so
he's a murderer, by the way.
I was waiting for someone to say it, but
he's a murderer, by the way.
I feel like definitely like in recent wrestling memories mind, it's that Jimmy Snuka, Hall of Famer / murderer.
I just know him as a murderer because I didn't watch the goddamn Hall of Fame ceremony where he got inducted. That's all I know him as.
So here's how I became familiar with Jimmy Snuka, and it was in the Attitude Era, and it's because every couple of months WWE would show Mankind jumping off the cell, and he was like, "Oh, like Snuka in the Garden," and that's kind of how I became familiar with Jimmy Snuka, and then I learned about all this stuff with Roddy Piper and all the other stuff with the '80s. But a match against the Undertaker at Undertaker's first WrestleMania, but I never really learned of him. I mean, there's never really a go-to standout match. There are like rivalries and things like that. There is that steel cage match, but there's never really like a true body of work that people reference me to go back to with Jimmy Snuka. But I mean,
we gonna get one now.
he's doing stuff here. I mean,
he does.
Well, let's talk about Bob Orton for a second.
He's great in this match.
He's great.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
I don't know whose idea was it for him to have a 10-minute armbar spot though. That was the longest armbar spot I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, so you know where Randy got it from though, right?
Oh wow.
that was my first thought.
It's just like, oh, the rest holds. I mean, he has taught Randy very well. It was my first thought about this entire thing. But yeah, Bob Orton does a damn good job. I mean, he's still he has a mild run in the WWE in the aughts, the 2000s as his son's manager or valet or
his heater really.
Yeah, his heater, and he does
really good. Yeah.
He does a really good job there. So I'm not surprised for anything that he's done really here. And then I think he got let go because the Undertaker. No one told the Undertaker that Bob Orton may have hepatitis, and he bled all over the ring. And I don't think we saw him after that.
No, Undertaker had to get the point. Yeah, Bob Orton, the nasty man. So the crowd in this match is interesting because after they're trying to rally, he's in that rest hold. They're trying to rally Snuka back up, and every time, like Bob just milks the heat segment for way too long. Like it's still the 80s, and eventually they start calling Bob the F word.
Mississippi, baby. Mississippi.
So I was dozing off, and I was like, Bob's and I was just like, wait, what did it? Oh shit, yo, wow.
And then the commentators actually, not supposed to comment on it, but they stay on it for like 2 minutes, as they chant it. And I was like, commentary's not supposed to address, that they're calling him.
Especially like the word that they're saying.
Yeah, don't address that at all. This match ends abruptly, in my opinion, after a high crossbody from Snuka. He wins the match.
I did. That was, and I forgot.
Yeah, crowd goes
I expected nothing else.
Yeah.
I mean, what, a 3 in the 80s, maybe? I feel like.
Meltzer would have loved this in the 80s. He would have loved this match.
In the 80s, I mean, well, here's the thing. It looked like Jimmy Snuka hadn't wrestled in years because his body looked terrible.
His lower half, mad ashy too. I don't know if that's the camera work, but motherfucker just put baby powder all over his goddamn lower half.
Listen.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. So let's wrap this show up. The next segment. Jake the Snake, the infamous Jake the Snake promo. I picked this show for this, and also because it's turning 20 this year. This is the the infamous "you want to play 21, I got 22" promo. He is fucking blasted here. He is drunk as shit. And you know what? Like it sucks. Like it's bad to like laugh at this, but at the end of the day, like this is literally like one of the most legendary promos I've ever seen in my life. How'd you guys feel about it?
Oh my God. So yes, legendary bad promo. Legendary.
Absolutely.
To me, just the fact that they still had this match kind of shows a sign of the times, right?
Yes.
Like the fact that promoters would still put a man out who's completely drunk and be like, well, we got to sell tickets. Someone's got to be on the show instead of doing maybe something like, okay, maybe Yokozuna does a triple threat match with King Kong Bundy and Jim Neidhart. And maybe they do that. And, these two guys try to fight off this big guy or something along those lines. But they're kind of like, nah, let's put Jake. Jake is arguably one of the more popular guys on the card. We need him on the card. We've already sold tickets with his name on it. Let's put him on. And the results are just, it's sad considering his latter WWE run, he'd gotten sober and he'd kind of changed his life around. And while things weren't going bad for him after he got released from WWF, and then he relapsed, and that's like the saddest part about this entire thing is that like he really had his life on track, and then one moment just he slipped, and this entire thing and this entire match and just really could have endangered his life incredibly, or the life of Jim Neidhart. I mean,
who was tasked with having to keep this match together for the first 6 minutes before they sent out Bundy and Yokozuna. Yeah, and it was, it's crazy. Like Jake walks out clearly drunk and high, looks terrible. Even like the pyro,
the kids call it crossfaded.
Yeah.
It was on the kids call it cross.
Yeah.
Neidhart's doing a bunch of, he's just trying to keep it together. I think there's one part where Jake gets someone from the crowd to rub his chest.
Oh yeah. And the lady steps.
At first, she was just like, he grabs her hand and she was like, "What are you doing?" And then she puts it on his chest and he was like, "Oh, okay." Like, and then does it.
He's like, "I guess, sure. I mean, let's do it. Fuck it." Jake takes the snake out.
Just play Codeine Crazy. Just play Codeine Crazy.
Yeah. Jake takes the snake out of the bag and he starts masturbating the snake on camera. Meelz, like, were you repulsed at this?
I was sad. I was big sad.
I was, just watching this entire thing. Yeah, I'm repulsed at it. I'm surprised it's still going on, and I'm surprised that I'm just entirely surprised at how things are sort of done. And people talk about how things are bad now and, stuff like that. When you have clear things like this, and it's kind of shown how far the wrestling business has come. But yeah, just seeing a man, imitate like a snake as his penis and walking out the ring with said snake. And, we've seen better days from Jake. That's all.
Yeah. So around 6 minutes in, Bundy, they kept advertising a 1,000-pound battle between Bundy and Yokozuna. The promoter actually called an audible and said, "Hey, we have to stop this." He sends them out to have a tag team match. So it turns into Neidhart and King Kong Bundy versus Jake and Yokozuna. And it doesn't get any better from there. It's pretty terrible. They try to save the match, and it just doesn't get any better. Bundy pins Jake, who isn't a legal man, and mercifully ends this match. I think this is one of the worst matches of all time. But I mean, if you look at it from
based on the circumstances of the match, it's pretty terrible. I'm surprised, it gave me a kind of a newfound respect for Jim Neidhart. Just being able to sort of carry this while, probably not wanting to, probably not thinking this is sort of professional, but still managing to do so and still managing to attempt to give the fans a show. it made me. This is probably one of the last times we see Yokozuna.
I think it is actually.
Before he passes away. He passes away legitimately the next year, the following year after this.
Yeah.
So, and then, you know, King Kong Bundy also, I mean, I had very seldom King Kong Bundy matches, but RIP King Bundy, who passed away a couple months ago. It's kind of weird to actually see this match and note that Jake Roberts is the only person still alive from this entire ordeal. And it kind of makes you, from looking at it from sort of that sort of standpoint, it really just kind of like, and looking at like, you know, documentaries and shows like that, it kind of makes you think how really, I mean, someone was really looking down and had it, you know, it was kind of blessing them because, man, for him to be alive through all the things that he's been through and us being able and us legitimately watching it firsthand. And this has got to be, looking back, one of the most embarrassing points of his career.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy. It's really crazy. But I place more blame on the bookers and the people involved who really sent him out and still thought it was a good idea to send him out, because you don't know what could have happened. He could have dropped somebody and broke their neck. He could have got belligerent with a fan and attacked a fan. He could have, you know,
he kind of did. I mean, he's actually assaulted the fan. It could have.
I'm saying it could have been worse. It could have been worse.
Yeah, could have fought somebody.
So this show drew 40,000 views on pay-per-view, and this is in 1999. So this is the time when WWF and WCW were making at least 1 million or so views every single month. This did less than a fraction of that. You know, they shortly thereafter never had another show again, and that is the history of Heroes of Wrestling. What do you guys feel about the show? I think this is, I mean, obviously terrible show, but we had to watch it for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Would never watch this again. It like, I think this is like this is the oldest show we ever seen on Spot Callers. Hopefully,
it's probably the oldest show you've ever seen.
No, it's not. I've seen WrestleMania 1.
Why? But go ahead.
I had the network, you know, and I thought, let's run it back.
Let me binge Manias and then like stop.
Yeah,
and like let's skip to 15 or something.
I stopped midway in 2, and then I really went to 15.
I mean, that's the wave, but
like whenever Hogan stopped like main eventing, that's when like those are the manias I started watching. But yeah, this show stinks. But you know, it's always nice to take a glimpse at the past and appreciate the future that we have today.
You know, I look at this card from the perspective of like, once again, I asked the question, like, you know, or at least the statement. I have like, yo, there was WWE. There was WCW, there was ECW, and then there was this. And not to say that this was like the fourth brand. Don't get me wrong. This isn't like the fourth coming of professional wrestling. But all of these guys who, you know, I guess were too pastiche for the Attitude Era at this point, and were kind of believed to be long past their, you know, their expiration date. And this is for WCW, who hired at least 30 old guys and kept them in the main event for almost a decade. You know, this is kind of a glimpse of like, all right, what have they been up to? And this is, you know, it's not something that I find particularly entertaining to watch. Yeah. What it is, does it kind of like, it's kind of a snapshot at the times. It's really, that's kind of what I take it more as. And all of these guys are past their prime. And, you know, unfortunately, a lot of these guys have passed. And hopefully, you know, I don't think they have any fond memories of this show at all. But
I'd love to get an oral history of this show one day, like an official one. Like,
me too. Who would do it?
Oh, damn, you're right. There's like,
Jake
and like 2 people.
Jake would be like, I don't remember a damn thing about this show, brother. Like, all I remember was, you know, or let's see, who else is out here? I mean, Tully.
If he remembers.
Tully remembers. Tully looks like he remembers everything. He looks like he remembers how finishes went down and why he wasn't a part of it, and like all these things. So I would definitely say Tully. I'm sure he'd want to talk about it.
I think get the Ease production crew
and Dutch Mantel also.
Oh yeah, he is on the show. He was on commentary as well too. You're right.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's Heroes of Wrestling. Put a bow on it for this month's episode of Spot Callers. Thank you, Meelz. I know we talk every single week, but thank you for being on the show this month.
No problem.
Thanks for watching 2 shows too.
I did watch 2 shows for this, but you know
I'm
what?
so sorry. You watched like the 2 worst that's ever been on the show.
All right, so what's next month? And let me see if I'm going to be jealous.
Oh man, it's actually next month is Matt Riddle's Bloodsport with Robbie Rabb. So Robbie gets the better show.
Robbie don't even like wrestling. How y'all gonna do me like this? Robbie don't even watch wrestling.
I had to give him the violent show.
You couldn't have given him Heroes of Wrestling 1999.
Oh, he would have tapped out. He would have said he wasn't going to do it.
My God.
Heroes of Wrestling. But yeah, just like I said, next month for June, we have Matt Riddle's Bloodsport. What city was this in, Cyrus? What city was this in?
This was New Orleans for Mania.
Another Mania weekend
2 years ago.
Yeah, for another Mania weekend show. Matt Riddle's Bloodsport. We're gonna have our buddy Robbie Rabb from Double XL on the show next month, talking about the show with myself and Cyrus. As always, follow us at RNC Radio Live on Twitter. Also, it's on SoundCloud at the A Show RNC. Yeah, we got so much content, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got a really big Money in the Bank show coming up for you this week with Meelz and myself. And we also have the call up with Kahlo. Shout out to Kahlo. And we also have more stuff on the actual RNC Radio Live channel proper as well. So make sure you check that out too. But yeah, for Meelz and Cyrus, I'm Justin. On Spot Callers, signing off. 30 days or less. We did it. We'll see you next month.